Today's lesson is all about who am I in the cyber world or your digital. So these are the lesson objectives. First is define online identity, then compare real identity versus online identity, describe the influence of internet on sexuality and gender, and then discuss the proper way of demonstrating values and attitudes online. Now let's start the lesson. So these days, more people are becoming active in using the internet. For example, for research, pleasure, business, communication, and other purposes. Indeed, the internet is of great help for everyone. On the other hand, people assume different identities while in the cyberspace. People act differently when they are online and offline. We have a real identity and online identity. The number of people who are becoming more active online continues to increase worldwide. More than half of the population worldwide now uses the internet. It has only been 25 years since Tim Berners-Lee, this guy, made the World Wide Web available to the public. But in that time, the internet has already become an integral part of everyday life for most of the world's population. The Philippines is among one of the countries with the most active internet users. Now, almost two-thirds of the world's population now has a mobile phone, and more than half of the world's web traffic now comes from mobile phones. More than half of all mobile connections around the world are now broadband, and more than 1 in 5 of the world's population shop online in the past 30 days. Now, media users in the Philippines grow by 12 million or 25%, while the number of social users increased by 13 million or 32%. These growth figures are still higher compared to the previous year. More than half of the world uses a smartphone. Now, as you can see in this data, this is a growth of worldwide digital users in 2016 compared to 2015. So here the total population is this is the global digital snapshot. So the total population is 7.476 billion in the urban area. So that is 54%. Then the internet users is 3. So among this 7.476 billion population, 3.773 billion uses the internet. That is 50% of the total population. Then the active social media users of this 7.4 billion is 2.789 billion people uses the social media actively. So this is 37%. Then the unique mobile users is 4.917 billion. That is 66% of the entire population. And then the active social users is 2.549 billion. That is 34% of this total population. Now let's proceed to the next figure. This is percentage of mobile internet users from different age groups in the Philippines. So this is the annual growth. So here the internet users since January 2016 is 10% of the total population, uh, and that increases by 354 million. And then the active social media users is increases since January 2016. So it increases to 21%, or this 21% is 482 million total additional active social media users. Then the unique mobile users, there's an additional, or the growth is 5%, or 222 million users. And lastly, the active mobile social users increases to 30%, or 581 million. If this is only uh, in the Philippines. Now let's proceed to the selective self-presentation and impression management. So according to Guffman in 1959 and Leary in 1995, self-presentation is the process of controlling how one is perceived by other people and is the key to relationship inception and development. To construct positive images, individuals selectively provide information about them and carefully cater this information in response to others' feedback. Anything posted online should be considered public, no matter what our privacy settings are. So let us say a student wrote online about how much she hated another student in school and started bullying him online. Does it matter if the student said, well, this is my personal account? Even if the student wrote it in a private account, it can become public with a quick screen capture and shared with the world. Now, personal identity is the interpersonal level of self which differentiates the individual as unique from others, while social identity is the level of self whereby the individual is identified by his group or her group memberships. Now, Belk in 2013 explained that sharing ourselves is no longer new and has been practiced as soon as human beings were formed. Digital devices help us share information broadly more than ever before. For those who are avid users of Facebook, it is possible that their social media friends are more updated about their daily activities, connections, and thoughts than their immediate families. Diaries that were once private or shared only with close friends are now posted as blogs, which can be viewed by anyone. In websites like Flickr and Photobucket, the use of arm's length self photography indicates a major change. In older family albums, the photographer was not often represented in the album, whereas with arm's length photos, they are necessarily included. In addition, the family album of an earlier era has become more of an individual photo gallery in the digital age. As Swartz, as Swartz mentioned, we have entered an extraordinary era or of self-portraiture. Blogs and web pages have been continuously used for greater self-reflection and self-presentation for one-sixth of humanity. As a result, researchers and participants become concerned with actively managing identity and reputation and to warn against the phenomenon of oversharing. Sometimes people become unaware of the extent of information they share online. They forgot to delineate what can be shared online and what should not. Furthermore, it provides a more complete narration of self and gives people an idealized view of how they would like to be remembered by others. Many teenagers, as well as some adults, share even more intimate details with their partners, like their passwords. This could be an ultimate act of intimacy and trust, or the ultimate expression of paranoia and distrust with the partner. Because of the conversion of private diaries into public revelations of inner because of the conversion of private diaries into public revelations of inner secrets, the lack of privacy in many aspects of social media make the users more vulnerable, leading to compulsively checking news feeds and continually adding tweets and postings in order to appear active and interesting. This condition has been called fear of missing out. So people would like to remain updated and they keep on sharing online because it adds a sense of confidence at their end, especially if others like and share their post. One of the reasons for so much sharing and self-disclosure online is the so-called disinhibition effect. So the lack of face-to-face gaze meeting together with feelings of anonymity and invisibility gives people the freedom for self-disclosure but can also flame others and may cause conflict sometimes. The resulting disinhibition causes people to believe that they are able to express their true self or their true self better online than they ever could in face-to-face context. However, it does not mean that there is a fixed true self. The self is still a work in progress, and we keep on improving and developing ourselves every single day. Seemingly, self-revelation can be therapeutic to others, especially if it goes towards or together with self-reflection. But it does appear that we now do a large amount of our daily work online. When the internet constantly asks us, who are you and what do you have to share? It is up to us if we are going to provide answers to such queries every time we use the internet, and to what extent are going to share details of ourselves to others. In addition to sharing the good things we experience, many of us also share the bad, embarrassing, and sinful things we experience. We also react and comment on negative experiences of others. Sometimes we empathize with people. We also argue with others online. Relationships may be made stronger or broken through posts online. Blogs and social media are the primary digital forum with such confessions occur, but they can also be found in photo and video sharing sites where blunders and bad moments are also preserved and shared. So why confess to unseen and anonymous others online? In view or in Foucault's view, confessing our secret through, through feels freeing even as in Foucault's view, confessing our secret through or feels freeing even as it binds us in a guilt-motivated self-governance born of a long history of Christian and pre-Christian philosophies and power structures. According to Foucault in 1998, confession, along with contemplation, self-examination, learning, reading, and writing self-critical letters to friends, are a part of the technologies of the self, through which we seek to purge and cleanse ourselves. Despite the veil of invisibility, writers of the internet write for our unseen audience. Both the number and feedback of readers provide self-validation for the writer and a certain celebrity. Confessional blogs may also be therapeutic for the audience to read, allowing both sincere empathy and the voyeuristic appeal of witnessing a public confession. Consequently, we should have a filtering system to whatever information we share online, as well as to what information we believe in. We are being shared or posted by others online. We should look at online information carefully whether they are valid and true before believing and promoting them. In the same way, we should also think before we post or share anything online in order to prevent conflict, arguments, and cyberbullying and to preserve our relationship with others. Now let's proceed to the gender and sexuality online. According to Marwick in 2013, while the terms sex, gender, and sexuality are often thought of as anonymous, they are actually quite distinct. The differences between the common understanding of these terms and how researchers think about them yield key insights about the social functioning of gender. Sex is the biological state that corresponds to what we might call as a man or a woman. This might seem to be a simple distinction, but the biology of sex is actually very complicated. While sex is often explained as biological, fixed, and immutable, it is actually socially constructed. Now, gender then is the social understanding of how sex should be experienced and how sex manifests in behavior, personality, preferences, capabilities, and so forth. A person with male sex organs is expected to embody a masculine gender, while sex and gender are presumed to be biologically connected. we can understand gender as a socio-culturally specific set of norms that are mapped into a category of sex. Now, gender is historical. It is produced by media and popular culture. It is taught by families, schools, peer groups, and nations. It is reinforced through songs, sayings, admonition, slang, language, fashion, and discourse, and it is deeply ingrained. Gender is a system of classification that values male gendered things more than female related things. This system plays out in the bodies of men and women and constructing hierarchies of everything from colors. Example, pink for female versus blue for male, to academic departments. Example, English versus math, to electronic gadgets and websites. Given this inequality, the universalized male body and experience is often constructed as average or normal, while female gendered experience are conceptualized as variations from the norm. Now let's proceed to gender and sexuality online. Sexuality is an individual expression and understanding of desire, while gender, this is often viewed as binary or homosexual or heterosexual. In reality, sexuality is often experienced as fluid. Now let's go to performing gender online. Theorist Judith Butler conceptualized gender as a performance. She explained that popular understandings of gender and sexuality came to be through discourse and social processes. She argued that gender was performative and in that it is produced through millions of individual actions, rather than something that comes naturally to men and women. Performances that adhere to normative understandings of gender and sexuality are allowed, while those that do not are admonished. In the 1990s, many internet scholars drew from Butler and other queer theorists to understand online identity. According to the disembodiment hypothesis, internet users are free to actively choose which gender or sexuality they are going to portray, with the possibility of creating alternate identities. The, the ability of users to self-consciously adopt and play with different gender or gender identities would reveal the choices involved in the production of gender. Breaking down binaries and encouraging fluidity in sexuality and gender expression. Recently, social media has been celebrated for facilitating greater cultural participation and creativity. Social media sites like Twitter and YouTube have led to the emergence of a free culture where individuals are empowered to engage in cultural production using raw materials ranging from homemade videos to mainstream television characters to create new culture, memes, and humor. At its best, this culture of memes, mashups, and creative political activism allowed for civic engagement and fun creative acts. While Dig, 4chan, and Reddit are used mostly by men, most social network site users are women. This is true in Facebook, Flickr, LiveJournal, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube. But mere equality of use does not indicate equality of participation. While both men and women use Wikipedia, 80% of Wikipedia contributors were identified as male. Male students are more likely to create, edit, and distribute digital video over YouTube or Facebook than female students. However, the Pew Internet and American Life Project found new discernible differences in user-generated content by gender except remixing, which was most likely among teen girls. One explanation for these differences is that user-generated content is often clustered by gender. Researchers have consistently shown that similar numbers of men and women maintain a blog, or about 14% of internet users, according to Lenhart in the year 2010, while the number of male and female bloggers is roughly equivalent. They tend to blog about different things. Overwhelmingly, certain types of blogs are written and read by women. Example, food, fashion, and parenting. While others are technology and politics, are written and run by men. Although the technologies are the same, the norms and mores of the people using them differ. Now let's proceed to the setting boundaries to your online self or your smart sharing. So the following guidelines will help you share information online in a smart way that will protect yourself and not harm others. Before posting or sharing anything online, consider the following. Is this post or story necessary? Then, is there a real benefit to this post? Is it funny, warm-hearted, teachable, or am I just making noise online without purpose? Third is, have we, as a family or parent or child, resolved this issue? An issue that is still being worked out at home, or one that is either vulnerable or highly emotional, should not be made public. Is it appropriate? That does it stay within the boundaries of our family values? Last one is, will this seem as funny in 5, 10, or 15 years? Or is this post better suited for sharing with a small group of family members? Or maybe not at all. Now the last one is rules to follow in posting online or researching online. So here are additional guidelines for proper sharing of information and ethical use of the internet according to new in the year 2014. First one is stick to safer sites. So for example, in this website, now this is the correct spelling. For example, if this C will be, or A will be in is in a capital form, so you must be aware, or you must uh, be in doubt that this website is safe or not. So you can also uh, make the habit that you have to manually type this HTTPS colon, then forward slash, then the website. This HTTPS means hypertext transfer protocol. So, or you can also browse in incognito, but this one is incognito is a private browsing. This whenever you have to view, example, Google, your viewing history will not appear on your device, but some company will be able to view your online behavior, browsing behavior. So only in your device. And also the last one is you have to go Google Safe Browsing. So first you have to type in this URL http colon forward slash then the google.com then safe browsing diagnostic then followed by the site you want to check. So that is to make sure if the site is safe. Next is guard your passwords. So it is very important that you must not share your password to anyone. So maybe except if it is your wife or husband or your very trusted friend or family member. Next is limit what you share. You must not share all of your private information online, like your ID uh, and your signature, because if there will be a bad person or some hacker who don't have a good intention towards you, they may copy or steal your identity now online. You must not also post your diploma, your grades. It is okay to be proud of your grade, but just show it personally to your parents or your family members or your friends, no? Just to keep to be safe. And especially your ID has your birth date, so it's very easy to know if, for example, you have an account online. No, they can immediately answer to your, I know, see your questions and copy your information online. Next is remember that anything you put online or post on a site is there forever. So even if you try to delete it. And then next is so is do not be mean or embarrass other people online. So even if you only post it on Facebook, it is not good to embarrass or be mean to other people online. You still have to be courteous and respectful towards other people. And then next is always tell if you see strange or bad behavior online. So maybe there are scammer like selling um, items which are not uh, legal, like that. And then next is be choosy about your friends online. So even if it's online, you still have to choose your friends because they can still influence you. And last one is be patient. So you have to be patient like a mother to to her daughter or to her children. So this is the last part of this lesson. So to summarize, this lesson includes global digital snapshot, selective self-presentation and impression management, self-presentation, gender and sexuality online, performing gender online, setting boundaries to your online self, and then rules to follow online.